Liam Carter told me he had a project out of town and would be gone for a few days. The very next day after he left, I got a call from a client who wanted to meet in person. And wouldn't you know it, they were in the exact same city as Liam. I wanted to surprise him, so I didn't call ahead. I just got in my car and drove there. After wrapping up the meeting with the client, I stepped out of the hotel private room and saw a wedding taking place in the ballroom across the hall on the huge wedding sign outside the ballroom. The groom had a face identical to Liam's. And then I saw his name. What a coincidence. His name was Liam Carter too. By the time I walked into the ballroom, the ceremony had already started. My husband was drinking the unity cup with his bride. The bright red marriage license in the MC's hand burned my eyes. Emma, I'm gonna give you the wedding of your dreams the day our company goes public. Watching Liam kiss his bride in front of everyone, I suddenly remembered that promise age made me. 13 years I'd been with him. No ring, no title, and now here I was, the other woman one. This wedding was extravagant, clearly planned with endless care. It must have cost a fortune. Just the rose petals covering the entire venue had to be tens of thousands of dollars. The bride, in her 20s, had flawless makeup and a stunning figure. People say 2 things are 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but with us, I'm 6 ounces of scrap iron, and she's half a pound of solid gold. A woman that beautiful would be the showstopper at any car show. Too bad she'd shown up at my husband's wedding. Her 10-foot wedding train was carried by 5 pairs of perfectly dressed flower girls and ring bearers. Staring at that beautiful train, I let out a bitter laugh. 13 years with Liam, and had never even gotten the cheapest veil. I really was a failure. On the main stage, Liam got down on one knee and slowly slipped a huge diamond ring onto the bride's finger. His touch was gentle, his gaze adoring. He held her hand like it was the whole world, but the other world, down in the audience, was about to explode. Because that pink diamond ring on her finger was the one I'd ordered from the jewelry store last month, the company was about to go public. And Liam said he'd propose to me publicly on that day. He said he'd give me the most unforgettable wedding. And what's a proposal without a ring? So I'd gone to the store myself and ordered this pink diamond engagement ring. But when I showed it to him, H frowned. Baby, what's gotten into you lately? H looked at me with such disappointment. I know we have money now, but this isn't how you spend it. What's the point of buying something like this? It's overpriced and doesn't hold its value. Diamonds are just a scam designed to rip off women like you. How could you fall for that? I'd gently taken the ring off my finger. I know someone at the store. I'll return it tomorrow, baby. With or without this ring, you're my wife. H pulled me into his arms and kissed my neck. Even without all these material things, you're the most beautiful woman in the world to me. I was such an idiot back then. I actually believed him, but now, he was putting that very material thing on another woman's finger. And me, the woman H called the most beautiful in the world, was standing in the audience watching. Yeah, what good are material things anyway? They're for giving to other women, obviously. After exchanging rings, the couple lifted a bottle of champagne and started pouring it into the champagne tower. Liam glanced casually toward the corner of the ballroom, and his hand shook so hard he almost spilled champagne all over the bride. He thought he was seeing things, so he blinked hard. There I was, in my bright red turtleneck dress, standing out like a sore thumb in the corner. When Liam looked over, I smiled and waved at him. All the happiness drained from his face in an instant, replaced by pure, unadulterated terror. He looked like a kid who'd wet the bed in the middle of the night, desperate to hide the soaked sheets from his mom only to open the closet and find her rotting corpse inside. I raised my hand and gestured for him to continue, to ignore me. A good woman always saves her man's face in public, even if he's not her man anymore. Liam dropped the champagne bottle, jumped off the stage, and ran straight to me. He grabbed my arm, panic written all over his face. Wow, what are you doing here? I smiled sweetly at him. I had no idea you were getting married today. I didn't bring a gift, but I'll send you a red envelope later. Congratulations, Liam. I wish you a happy marriage. I glanced around the ballroom. Oh, and which table am I supposed to sit at? That's when Liam realized where they were. He turned around and saw that everyone in the ballroom was staring at us. The MC on stage stood frozen like a statue, having no idea how to continue the ceremony. Honey, who is she? The bride forgot all about the wedding, lifted her dress, and ran over, looking at her. I finally understood why Liam had married her. She had way more to offer than I did. I smiled politely at the perfectly made-up bride. Liam Aren't you going to introduce us? Liam was incoherent, baby. It's not what you think. He cut himself off as soon as the words left his mouth, but it was too late. Everyone had heard him call me baby. The ballroom erupted in whispers. What's going on? Did the Moore's son-in-law have someone on the side? Are you blind? Why would he cheat with someone that old? You must be desperate. Wait, the officiant had a marriage license. They're legally married, probably an ex-wife he never properly dealt with. He's a big CEO. Divorce isn't simple for people like him. The bride pointed at me, trembling with rage. Honey, who the hell is this woman? Her parents rushed over too. Her mother didn't say a word, she just shoved me hard. I stumbled backward and slammed into the wall behind me. I don't care what gutter you crawled out of, you bitch. Get out of here right now. My son-in-law is a CEO of a publicly traded company. If you cause trouble here, I'll have him break your legs. Her father charged forward too, grabbed a plate of food from the nearest table, and threw it at me. Get out. We rented this entire hotel. You're not welcome here. Thankfully it was a cold dish, so I didn't get burned, but the sauce and food splattered all over my dress. When I didn't leave, he grabbed another plate, just as he was about to throw it. Liam knocked the plate out of his hand. The next second, Liam slapped his father-in-law hard across the face. You old bastard. Don't you dare touch her. If you lay a finger on her again, you'll regret it. The wedding had officially become a circus. Liam slapping his own father-in-law in front of everyone was the final nail in the coffin. After getting hit by his son-in-law, the bride's father didn't say a word. He just stepped back quietly, and the whole family fell silent. So that's how it is when you're rich. You can slap your own father-in-law and get away with it. Liam, since you're married now, we should keep our distance from now on. Emma, wait. Let me explain. I pulled my arm out of his grasp, my voice calm. You already have a marriage license. What's there to explain? I built this company with you for 13 years. Now that you're successful, it's time for me to be replaced, trading in the wife who stood by you through hell for a younger, prettier trophy wife. What's to explain? I shook him off and walked quickly out of the ballroom. I didn't need to hear his excuses. That bright red marriage license had already given me all the answers I needed. 13 years. I'd gone from a naive young girl to a 37-year-old career woman. Besides the company we'd built together, all I had to show for it was a body full of aches and Liam's betrayal. That marriage license had turned all my feelings for him into a joke. 13 years of love. And it had all become that beautiful, lice-infested robe Eileen Chang famously wrote about, a perfect facade hiding nothing but decay. The first thing I did when I got back to the office was send Liam a $200 red envelope. Congratulations on your wedding. Wishing you a lifetime of happiness together. Liam texted back instantly, baby. I know nothing I say will make this right, but please forgive me just this once. I'll break it off with her completely. I promise I'll never see her again. We have 13 years together. Doesn't that count for anything? Can't I get one chance to make it right? Reading his texts, I actually laughed out loud. 13 years together means I have to forgive him. 13 years together means he can cheat on me. 13 years together means loyalty doesn't matter. He kept talking about his feelings, but he never once realized that love is a two-way street. Liam, it's over between us. You're married now. You can't betray your wife. When I hit send, the tears finally came. 13 years of sticking together through thick and thin. It was like losing a family member. My phone started vibrating non-stop. I picked it up and blocked Liam's number. Finally, some peace and quiet. I knew this wasn't over, but I didn't expect his new wife to show up at my office the next day. Emma Bennett. How dare you show your face here? Scarlett Moore pushed open my office door, her voice sharp and contemptuous. My secretary followed behind her, and I could see the apology in her eyes mixed with obvious curiosity. I'm sorry, Ms. Bennett, but she said she's Mr. Carter's wife. I waved her off. It's fine. Go back to work. Scarlett held up her marriage license like a child showing off a new toy. See this, Emma? I'm Liam's legal wife. I nodded. Yeah, I figured that out yesterday. I also remember Liam slapping your father across the face yesterday. Scarlett's face froze. She was so shocked she could barely speak. You're just all talk, Emma. What else can you do? I'm Liam's wife. You're just an old washed-up mistress. How can you possibly compete with me? So? I looked at her calmly. Why are you here? What do you want from me? She pointed toward the door. I want you to get the hell out of here right now. This is my husband's company. You have no right to be here, you bitch. I'm the rightful lady of this company. This office should be mine. I'm being nice by asking you to leave voluntarily. If you don't, I won't be so polite. I smiled at her. Oh really? I'd love to see what you're gonna do. Scarlett leaned out the office door and yelled, "Security. Where are the security guards? Are you all deaf?" I said bring security here now. She pointed at me, "Throw this bitch out." No one moved. Everyone ignored her. A few people glanced up, then quickly looked back down at their desks. She ran up and down the hallway screaming like a lunatic, waving her marriage license. "Look at this. I'm your boss's wife. If you don't listen to me, I'll have my husband fire all of you." My assistant ran into my office. "Ms. Bennett, should I call security?" I shook my head no. Her husband will be here soon. This is Liam's family drama. If she wants to embarrass herself, let her. It's his reputation on the line, not ours. Yes, Ms. Bennett. 10 minutes later, a tired and angry Scarlett stormed back into my office just as Liam walked in. He was carrying a takeout container of hot beef noodle soup. It was still steaming, fresh from the restaurant. He completely ignored Scarlett, acting like she wasn't even there. Liam set the soup down in front of me with a proud look, then pulled his hand back and fanned his fingers. Ouch. That was hot. He looked at me expectantly. "Come on, eat it while it's hot. You've been craving this forever." The steam rose from the bowl, and the familiar smell made me dizzy. I have a lot of favorite foods, but this beef noodle soup has always been my number one. It's not that it's particularly delicious. It's just that it was the only thing we could afford when we were first starting out. A bowl of hot soup would warm us up after handing out flyers in the freezing cold. It would fill our empty stomachs when we had no money for anything else. I remember Liam slurping his noodles back then, promising me solemnly, "Baby, when we make it big, I'll take you to eat all the fancy seafood you want." Back then, H always give me the few pieces of chicken from his bowl. That little noodle shop is still there, across the street from our office. It used to cost $5 a bowl, now it's $8. I've asked him 100 times to go back there with me. He never has. I thought the man who ate noodles with me would love me forever. The taste of the soup hasn't changed, but the man has. Now he's finally brought me another bowl of hot beef noodle soup, but I don't want it anymore. "Liam, are you blind? I'm sitting right here. Who the hell is your wife, me or her?" Seeing how affectionate Liam was being with me, Scarlett completely lost it. She screamed at him, hitting his chest with her fists. "You said you were sick of her. You said you were gonna dump her. You said you loved me. You said you were only with her for the business. You said you hated old women like her. You said I was the only one you'd ever love. Liam, I want you to throw this whore out right now." I looked at the hysterical Scarlett and sneered. "Ms. Moore." "Oh, sorry, Mrs. Carter now. You don't actually think he loves you, do you?" Scarlett glared at me. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. I just pushed the bowl of hot soup between them. "This soup is still boiling hot. It just came out of the kitchen, Liam. Either one of you, if you can eat every last drop of this in 5 minutes, I'll forgive you, and don't tell me it's too hot. If it wasn't hot, I wouldn't be asking you to do it." Timer starts now. Liam stared at the bowl of soup for exactly 1 second. That's all it took. He turned to Scarlett, pointed at the bowl, and spoke in a cold, hard voice. "You, eat it." Scarlett's eyes went wide with disbelief. She came from a middle-class family. Her only assets were her looks and her body. That's all she had, but even she never thought the man who'd promised to love her forever would make her eat a bowl of boiling hot soup. "Are you crazy? You want me to eat that? It'll burn my throat." Slap. Liam slapped her hard across the face. She spun like a top and crashed to the floor. "I've spent thousands on you. You think that gives you the right to talk back to me? Open your mouth, wider." Liam picked up the bowl, knelt down, and grabbed her chin roughly. Her nose was already bleeding. He poured the boiling hot soup down her throat. "Ah!" Scarlett screamed in agony, flailing her arms and knocking the bowl out of his hand. Noodles and soup spilled all over the expensive carpet. Liam grabbed the noodles off the floor and started shoving them into her mouth. "Eat. Eat it all. Swallow." I said swallow. His hands were red and burned from the hot soup, but Scarlett's face and mouth were covered in blisters. "What did I tell you yesterday? I told you to stay away from her." "Scarlett, did you think I was joking? If you hadn't insisted on this stupid wedding, she never would have found out. We never would have gotten into this mess. Have I been too nice to you lately?" Liam screamed at her as he forced the noodles down her throat. I'd never seen him like this before. The man who used to eat $5 beef noodle soup with me was dead. H died right there in my office. "Enough, the soup is spilled. Stop making her eat it." At the sound of my voice, Liam dropped Scarlett immediately and turned to me. hope in his eyes. Emma, you forgive me? Forgive you? I snorted, looking at the mess on the floor. Liam, I said eat every last drop. Did you think I asked you here to ruin my carpet? I looked at his burned hands. If you weren't afraid of getting burned, why did you make her eat it? If you'd eaten it yourself, you wouldn't have spilled it everywhere. I stood up and walked over to Scarlett, who was lying on the floor covered in blisters and blood. I looked down at her. This is the husband you married. He really takes such good care of you. I'd rather burn his own hands than let you miss out on the first bite. I'm so jealous. Now you know. Liam doesn't love you, and he doesn't love me either. He only loves himself. I knelt down and looked her straight in the eyes. Do you know why he's begging me for forgiveness so badly? Because this company is ours. Half of it belongs to me. If we have problems, the company can't go public. If I leave, the whole thing falls apart, his net worth will crash, and then that rich eligible bachelor you married will be worth nothing. That's why he can't afford to upset me. I hold half his future in my hands. What do you hold? My eyes drifted down to her chest, which was now covered in dirt, blood, and noodles. It looked like a garbage dump. A pretty face and a nice body are a dime a dozen, but a fortune isn't something you can get back once it's gone, Mrs. Carter. Good luck. I stood up and walked out. Emma, wait. Liam tried to follow me, but Scarlett grabbed his pant leg, her face covered in blood. Honey, I'm sorry. I'll never come to the office again. I promise. Please don't leave me. I can't live without you. Our baby needs a father. Fuck off. Liam kicked her hard in the face. You stupid bitch. You ruined everything. Do you have any idea how hard I worked to get here? You destroyed everything with your stupid tantrum. Are you happy now? Scarlett cried, covering her face with her arms to block his kicks. I'm sorry. I really am. I'll never do it again. Please don't leave me. I'm pregnant. Liam's foot froze mid-air. What did you say? Say that again. Scarlett grabbed his leg like it was a lifeline. I'm not lying. I'm pregnant. Crack. The vintage wooden doorknob in my hand snapped clean off. Emma, you have to believe me. You're the only one I love. Baby, you're so kind. This is a life we're talking about. We can't just abandon it. Wait for me. I'll take her to the hospital. I'll be right back. I promise. With those words, Liam picked up Scarlett and ran out of the office. I stood at the window and watched him carefully put her in the car, then speed away. I felt nothing. My heart had gone cold a long time ago. There was nothing left to break. Liam didn't come back to the office that day. I drove home and stopped at a luggage store on the way to buy 2 suitcases. I couldn't stand to live in the same house as him. It made me sick to my stomach. I had to move out tonight. Everything in that house was full of memories of us. So I left it all behind, just like I left Liam behind. I had just finished packing my clothes when I heard the electronic door lock beep. Liam was home. He walked in with a huge smile on his face, practically bouncing with excitement. He ran over and pulled me into a tight hug. Emma, I have great news. Scarlett's pregnant. 2 months along. He was so excited he was squeezing me so hard I could barely breathe. I stomped hard on his foot. He yelped in pain. I pushed him away. Liam, are you out of your mind? Your wife is pregnant. What does that have to do with me? Liam grabbed my hands. Everything. This is our baby. Emma, remember when we went to visit that client's wife in the hospital after she had her baby? You said you couldn't believe how much it hurt. You said you were scared to have kids. We've been so busy building our future these past few years. We never had time for kids, but now Scarlett's pregnant. This is perfect for you. I stared at him, completely confused. I pulled my hands away. What do you mean, perfect for me? Liam looked at me like he was doing me a huge favor. Emma, how old are you? You're 37. You're a high-risk pregnancy. It's dangerous for you to have kids. That's why I never pushed you to have a baby. I was worried about your health, but now Scarlett's having my baby. You don't have to go through the pain of childbirth, but you still get a baby. Once she has it, well, bring it home and you can raise it. If you love it like your own, it will be your son. I thought I was having a nightmare. I pinched myself hard. It hurt. This was real. I looked at Liam and realized I didn't know him at all. 13 years living together. And when had he become this monster? So you married another woman and got her pregnant because you felt bad for me and didn't want me to go through the pain of childbirth. Is that what you're saying? Liam nodded seriously. Exactly. You said you were scared of the pain. Emma, I remember everything you've ever said to me. So you want me to raise your baby with your wife and keep working to make you rich? Liam, What am I to you? Your free nanny? We're business partners, co-founders of this company. I am not your wife. I looked him straight in the eyes. You said you remember everything I've ever said. Liam nodded solemnly. Yes, every word. I've never forgotten anything. Then do you remember what I said to you on the day we founded this company? Liam's eyes drifted upward. What did you say? I said if you ever betrayed me, I would never forgive you, not in this lifetime. I grabbed my suitcases and pushed past him. Liam, I meant every word. You can dream about your company going public. We're done. 2 days later, I walked into the finance department with my lawyer, Ms. Bennett. We can't just liquidate the company assets like this. We need Mr. Carter's approval. Why don't you talk to him first? Everyone in finance was loyal to Liam when things were good between us. It didn't matter, but now that we were splitting up, they were all taking his side. Talk to him. I looked at the head of finance and sneered. Is he my boss? Do I report to him? Don't forget, I'm a co-founder of this company. I don't work for Liam Carter. Arguing with them was a waste of time. I pulled Liam's number out of my blocked list and called him. Liam, I don't care where you are. Get back to the office right now. You have 20 minutes. I hung up before he could say anything, then turned back to the trembling head of finance. You wanted me to talk to Mr. Carter. I just did. If he's not here in 20 minutes, you're fired. 28 minutes later, Liam rushed into the office. Emma, what's wrong? I pointed at the head of finance. I came to look at the books, and he wouldn't let me. Said I needed your approval. Why would I keep an employee who doesn't listen to me? Liam glanced at the head of finance. You, go to HR. You're fired, Mr. Carter. Liam cut him off sharply. Did I stutter? Get out. After he left, Liam turned to me with a fake smile. Emma, what's going on? Why did you need me here so badly? I twirled my pen in my hand, my voice as calm as if I was talking about the weather. Nothing. I just can't stand working here anymore. I'm leaving the company. As soon as the words left my mouth, Liam dropped to his knees. Emma, please, don't do this. I know I messed up, but this company. He gestured wildly around the room. We built this together. We put everything into this. Are you just gonna throw it all away? He grabbed my knees, his eyes red. Don't you remember how we started? We handed out flyers in the freezing cold, and we didn't even have proper coats. Our hands were covered in frostbite, and we couldn't even afford ointment. I drank myself sick to land clients, and you worked until you were anemic. We went through hell to get here, and now you want to walk away right before we go public. Did we work this hard just to give up at the finish line? If H said this to me a month ago, I would have forgiven him. I would have stayed and built the company with him. But now, the more he talked about the past, the more I wanted to get as far away from him as possible. Liam, I was with you for 13 years. I'm not a stone. I have feelings, but do you? Do you have any feelings at all? The second I saw you put that ring on Scarlett's finger, I realized something. I pushed his hands away firmly. Sincerity is like an ass, everyone has one. But you don't drop your pants and show it to just anyone. Liam, do you know why I'm leaving so suddenly? He stared at me blankly, shaking his head. Because you never loved me. For 13 years, I was just the best option you had. You stayed with me because I loved you unconditionally. You were just waiting for the company to go public. Once it did, you were gonna team up with the other shareholders and push me out. Then you'd be the sole owner. Old, washed-up Emma would be penniless, and you'd be the big-shot CEO. If you hadn't been in such a hurry to marry Scarlett, I never would have figured it out. It's not that men become bad when they get rich, Liam. It's that you couldn't wait to be bad once you had money. Panic finally flashed in Liam's eyes. Emma, no. I never thought that. I swear. You have to believe me. 13 years together. How could I do that to you? I waved my hand. Save it, Liam. You've told this lie so many times. You almost believe it yourself. Do you want me to call the investors you've been secretly meeting with? Liam's head dropped. When he looked up again, all the warmth and apology was gone. In its place was cold, hard cruelty. Emma, if I refuse to let you leave, what are you gonna do about it? Finally, the real Liam Carter had shown his face, cold, bitter, heartless, and ruthless, a man with no morals. I pointed at my lawyer behind me. Do you know why he's here? My lawyer pulled a file out of his briefcase and handed it to me. I threw the file at Liam's feet. You can refuse to let me leave, but I don't mind taking this to court, Liam. We own this company 50-50, but since you're the one who cheated, I'm taking 60% of the valuation. Liam scoffed and opened the file. He read one page, then looked up at me in shock. Emma, you investigated me? I raised an eyebrow. What else was I supposed to do? Let you drain the company accounts to spoil your pregnant little wife? You've got some nerve, Liam. Houses, cars, even antique jewelry from Sotheby's all charged to the company account. No wonder your finance director was so loyal to you. Liam didn't say anything. He just stared at me with that cold, dead look I'd never seen before. Enough staring. Let's talk about the split. 60%, Liam. If you short me even a penny, I'll make sure you rot in prison, just as I expected. Liam wouldn't give up the company. He sold everything he owned, his house, his cars, even took out loans against the company to scrape together the money. A month later, $1.2 billion was in my bank account. When the transfer went through, I stood up to leave. Liam reached out to stop me, but all he could say was a quiet, "I'm sorry." 13 years together. And that's all I got, 3 words that meant less than nothing. I didn't say anything. I just walked out of the conference room and never looked back. I booked a plane ticket and flew to a small town in the Pacific Northwest. I was tired. I didn't want to work anymore. I wanted to see the mountains, feel the cold air, and start a new life. I wanted to finally take care of myself. After I left, Liam's life fell apart. His reputation in the business world was destroyed. No one wanted to work with a man who'd abandoned his partner of 13 years for a younger woman. Clients canceled their contracts. Suppliers stopped delivering. Worst of all, the company's IPO was canceled because of my departure. With most of the capital gone, the company was on the brink of collapse. Employees quit their jobs and bailed, scared they'd be the next one to get fired. Liam's company was dying. And then, just when things couldn't get any worse, Scarlett went into premature labor. For a moment, Liam thought this was the good news he'd been waiting for. But when he got to the hospital, he found Scarlett and her family trying to sneak out, and he saw his precious son. A beautiful baby boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. Turns out the light at the end of the tunnel wasn't sunshine. It was the green light of cuckoldry. Liam completely lost it. He attacked Scarlett and her family. In the fight, he pushed Scarlett, and she hit her head on the doorframe. She fell unconscious and never woke up. Liam grabbed the baby and threw him on the floor. Scarlett was left brain dead. The baby didn't survive. Cheaters never win, they just end up getting cuckolded themselves. In the end, Liam was sentenced to life in prison for manslaughter and murder. On the day Liam went to prison, a small noodle shop opened quietly in that small town in the Pacific Northwest. The specialty was beef noodle soup, $5 a bowl, generous portions. There were only 4 small tables. The owner was a woman who cooked everything herself. She was pretty, and the noodles were decent. But the real draw was the price. The shop was called Second Bite, named for the idea of picking up hope and savoring life again.